felicitations to the Muslim Ummah in Plateau State, Nigeria, and across the globe on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr, even as he called for renewed commitment to peace, unity, and collective national progress. A statement by the Director of Press and Public Affairs to the Governor Gang Bere, Governor Mutfang commended Muslims for their steadfast devotion, discipline, and sacrifices throughout the holy month of Ramadan, urging them to sustain the enduring virtues of love, charity, tolerance, and unity, which define the sacred period even beyond the celebrations. The governor noted that the festival reinforces faith, sacrifice, and total submission to the will of Almighty Allah. Values, he said, are critical to building a peaceful and prosperous society. The governor encouraged Muslim faithfuls to reflect on the values of love, charity, and selflessness, and to work collectively towards building a more united, peaceful, and prosperous Plateau State. While acknowledging the unwavering commitment to the Muslim community to peaceful coexistence in Plateau State and Nigeria at large, Governor Mutfang further urged adherents to use the occasion to pray for their leaders, seeking divine guidance and wisdom in the delivery of responsive and people-oriented governance. The governor also reaffirms his administration's commitment to inclusivity, good governance, and the protection of lives and property, assuring citizens of sustained effort to improve welfare and promote sustainable development across all communities. Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Nalong Daniel, has called on Nigerians, particularly the Muslim Ummah, to sustain the virtues of peace, love, tolerance, and unity as exemplified during the holy month of Ramadan. In a message signed by the Press Secretary to the Speaker, Philip Eblong, Daniel praised the Muslim faithful for their devotion, sacrifice, and steadfastness throughout the fasting period, noting that the lessons of Ramadan can go beyond abstinence and should translate into positive actions that promote harmony and peaceful coexistence. He urged Muslim adherents to continue to demonstrate compassion to the less privileged, promote understanding among diverse communities, and remain ambassadors of peace in their respective domains. The Speaker emphasized that Plateau State, known for its diversity, requires collective commitment from all citizens, irrespective of religions or ethnic background, to sustain the prevailing peace and strengthen the bonds of unity across communities. Daniel further stressed that leaders at all levels must continue to promote policies and actions that foster inclusiveness, justice, and equity, as these remain critical to building trust and ensuring long-term stability in the state and the nation. He called on citizens to use the festive period to pray for the continued progress of Plateau State and Nigeria, while supporting government initiatives aimed at improving the welfare of citizens and advancing development. The Speaker, who conveyed his message to the Muslim Ummah on behalf of principal officers, members, and staff of the Plateau State House of Assembly, reiterated the commitment of the Assembly under his leadership to enact laws and support policies that will promote peace, protect lives and property, and enhance the overall well-being of the people. The spirit of unity, sacrifice, and devotion filled the air in Jos as thousands of Muslim faithfuls gathered at the central Eid praying ground, Ali Kazauri, Jos, to mark this year's Eid al-Fitr. Despite the restriction of movement in the state capital, worshippers turned out in large numbers to demonstrate their unwavering faith. Our correspondent report from the prayer ground.
Under clear skies and heightened security presence, the central Eid praying ground in Ali Kazauri, Jos came alive with chants of Allah Akbar as Muslim faithful gathered to observe the 2 Rakat Eid prayer, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Men, women, and children dressed in colorful attire formed orderly rows, united in worship and gratitude after 30 days of fasting, prayers, and reflection. The chief imam of Jos, Sheikh Ghazali Ismail Adam, who presided over the prayers, emphasized the need for peace, tolerance, and continued obedience to the teachings of Islam beyond the period. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, represented by the Commissioner for Water Resources and Energy, Bashir Lawandi, commended the peaceful conduct of the prayers and the level of compliance observed among residents and cautioned the youth against vices.
Let's celebrate the Salah with caution. Let's avoid everything that will bring disunity within our state. During Ramadan, we pray for peace. So let's exhibit the peace. Let's embrace each other in order to make sure that we are one. And my comment on the youth is that let's celebrate Salah the way it's supposed to be celebrated.
Some worshippers who spoke highlighted the importance of sustaining the virtues learned during Ramadan, including patience, generosity, and self-discipline.
Today is the day that we gather to pray to Almighty after 30 days of fasting. The main aim of fasting is to teach us discipline, to make us more dedicated and committed to God Almighty. The month of Ramadan, so that they will continue in the good ways and they shun all evils and vices as you have done in the month. One is not expected to change course because the month has passed. No, it's just that the month is a kind of a rejuvenation for the faithful.
Although there were restrictions of movements in parts of the city, worshippers were seen navigating their way through various routes to access the Eid prayer ground, as well as making their way back home peacefully, reflecting both determination and commitment to their religious obligations. From the central Eid praying ground, Ali Kazaure, I am Shamakigan.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists Plateau State Council has extended warm felicitations to the Muslim Ummah in Plateau State and across Nigeria on the joyous occasion of Salah. The union, in a statement, said the sacred celebration is a time of reflection, sacrifice, compassion, and renewed commitment to the values of peace, unity, and obedience to the will of Allah, reminding us of the importance of tolerance, selflessness, and harmonious coexistence. The NUJ calls on all Muslims to continue to uphold the lessons of Ramadan by promoting peace, love, and understanding among all citizens, irrespective of religious or ethnic differences. The statement notes that at a time when the nation is facing various challenges, the role of religious and community leaders in fostering unity and national cohesion is critical for the growth and stability of the society. NUJ Plateau State Council urged journalists and media practitioners to remain committed to ethical reporting by promoting messages that strengthen unity and discourage misinformation, hate speech, and divisive narratives. The Council encourages all citizens to adhere to safety guidelines and directives as provided by various government agencies to ensure a hitch-free celebration. Executive members of the All Progressives Congress APC at all the local government and ward levels have been challenged to work diligently for the progress of the party. Member representing Mungo South in the Plateau State House of Assembly, Matthew Kwarpo, threw the challenge at the swearing-in of local government and ward executives of the APC held at NUT Hall, Mungo. The report by Mungo Zonal Correspondent Ragnan Ignatius is continued from our studio.
While congratulating the new executives for coming on board, Matthew Kwarpo said the challenges before them is monumental, hence the need for inclusive leadership. Kwarpo challenged the 20-ward chairman in Mungo local government that any of them who attract members of any member of other political parties to the ruling APC will receive handsome rewards.
We have made it right, and it is because of the glory of God upon Mungo local government. What we have done today is an assurance of the fact that His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, has a very peaceful form, has a very peaceful local government, a very coordinated local government, and a developmental local government for having this all taken a very successful one.
Chairman of Mungo Local Government Council, Emmanuel Molpun, employed the new executives to sit up as the success of the party in the next general elections rests on them.
After this swearing-in, they will take the mantle of leadership and do everything within their ability to ensure that 2027 is a child's play.
Administering the oath on the local government and ward executives separately, Barrister Ezekiel Tufuat urged them to abide by the oath and be fair to all and sundry. State woman leader of the party, Tongred Tongden, and the state deputy youth leader, Kefas Nesto, noted that as one big family, they are to work inclusively without ethnic or religious sentiment for all to achieve said goals. They acknowledge that the challenges ahead are much, stressing that they cannot afford to fail in their duties. Senator Diket Plang, represented by Elisha Juantu, encouraged the new executives to work as a team with the fear of God as well as not to segregate, accepting the responsibility bestowed on them on behalf of the new executive members. The chairman, APC Mongu Tijani Yelwa, appreciated all stakeholders and party leaders for their trust, assuring that they will not take it for granted.
I do not take this responsibility lightly.
Deputy Chairman of Mongo Local Government, Nuhu Yakwen, thanked all stakeholders for believing in Governor Caleb Mutfwang, promising better working relationships with the new executives. The oath administered on the new executive was the climax of the occasion.
Of Plateau State University, Plateau has ratified disciplinary measures against 76 students found guilty of various forms of examination malpractice. The offenses, which contravene the university's established regulations as detailed in the student handbook, range from the smuggling of unauthorized materials into examination halls to cases of impersonation. The sanctions were finalized during the Senate 102nd regular meeting. Depending on the severity of the misconduct, the penalties ranges from rustication for one academic session, compulsory carryover of affected courses, and outright expulsion for the most egregious violations. The meeting, presided by Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic Professor Moses Galadima Pefa, received a comprehensive report from the Examination Misconduct Committee, which investigated the students apprehended during the second semester examinations for the 2024-2025 academic session. The malpractice included possession of mobile phones and electronic devices, use of unauthorized written notes and cheat sheets, and inscriptions of information related to examination questions on body parts. Following through deliberations, the Senate approved punishment that remains strictly consistent with the university's disciplinary provisions. The Vice-Chancellor reaffirmed the institution's zero-tolerance policy regarding academic dishonesty and emphasized that Plateau remained committed to fostering an environment of integrity, discipline, and sound moral values. Meantime, the Senate also ratified the final year undergraduate and postgraduate results for the 2024-2025 academic session and confirmed reports that lectures for the new semester have already commenced, with academic activities resuming 2 weeks ago across all departments. Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Nalong Daniel, has felicitated with His Royal Majesty Jerome Leclat II over his emergence as the long pan of the Pan Chiefdom, describing it as a historic and unifying moment for the people of Kwampan local government area. Daniel noted that the emergence of Jerome Leclat as long pan reflects the collective will and confidence of the people, anchored on his proven track record in traditional leadership and years of dedicated service as district head of Oil District. A statement by the press secretary to the Speaker, Philip Eplong, says the new royal father embodies the values of wisdom, humility, and commitment required to lead the chiefdom at this critical time. The Speaker commended the kingmakers for their maturity, transparency, and strict adherence to tradition, which ensured a peaceful and credible selection process. He also appreciated the Plateau State government under the leadership of Governor Caleb Mutfwang and the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs for their roles in upholding due process and promoting stability throughout the exercise. According to him, the orderly and widely accepted emergence of the long pan further reinforces the strength of traditional institutions as pillars of peace, unity, and cultural preservation. Daniel expressed confidence that the new long plan will provide purposeful leadership, foster unity among the people, and uphold the dignity and rich cultural heritage of the Pan chiefdom. And on the foreign scene, Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara says his country is carefully calculating steps and working to keep Syria away from any conflict. Speaking from the presidential palace after prayers marking it, the president says Syria stands in full solidarity with the Arab states. Earlier, the Israel Defense Forces said it struck targets in southern Syria overnight. It said the strikes were in response to attacks against the Druze population in Al-Suwaida, which is a city in southern Syria. The Druze are an Arabic-speaking ethno-religious minority in Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. And that is it on News Track. Stay tuned for global news at 6:30 p.m. and news update at 10 p.m. But before then, do enjoy the rest of our programs and have a very wonderful afternoon. Thanks for watching.
Invest in Plateau the Beautiful. Plateau still a tourist delight with a serene weather, a land of plenty, a destination of cultured people. Invest in the land that is green. The time is now. From the Southern Zone, Central Zone, up to the Northern Zone, Plateau is green. The time is now. PRTV, committed to you.
Genetic engineering holds great promise for the future of humanity. A growing number of scientists believe that we will soon be able to engineer and change our genes in a way that will help us live longer and healthier lives. David Sinclair is a geneticist at Harvard Medical School. He believes it's possible to unlock the fountain of youth, but how much should we really tinker with our own nature?
Nothing about our lives is natural. Maybe the oxygen we're breathing is natural, but everything else is unnatural. It's human-made, it's man-made, and we change our environment, and tackling diseases and tackling aging is also natural. That's what we do as humans. We don't accept misery and frailty as natural ways of life. We should not be doing that for any disease, and we should not be doing it for old age either.
Since before the first Homo sapiens walked the earth 200,000 years ago, we've been shaped by our own inventions. We evolved from tribes of foragers and scavengers to hunters and gatherers, agriculturalists, industrialists, and eventually modern-day digital technologists. All these advancements have had profound effect on our species, but we haven't stopped there. Biotechnology is bringing about another age of humanity.
Well, there are two types of information in our bodies that are essential for life. One is genetic, and the other is epigenetic. Epigenetic is the term for any process and structure that governs the way the genetic information is packaged and read by the cell. All of our cells, essentially all of our cells, have the same genome. But what distinguishes a brain cell from a liver cell, and what allows a fertilized egg to become a 26 billion composite of different cell types when it's born, is the epigenome. And the epigenome, I believe, is the reason that we age. A nerve cell in an older person is no longer fully a nerve cell. It's starting to move around in so-called Waddington landscape space or epigenomic space, and it's becoming a different type of cell. A nerve cell in an old person may be partly a skin cell. I mean, think about that. No wonder we start to lose the function of our retina. No wonder we start to forget things if our cells don't maintain their epigenomic information. Question is, though, can we slow this down? And can we reset the system? Is there a reboot? Is there a backup hard drive of this early setup that we can access and restore that structure? I believe that it's possible.
In the last few years, we've seen the development of new gene editing technologies that were much quicker and easier than ever before. New discoveries in gene editing technologies are popping up everywhere in the world, and experts predict that we will see many more in the coming years. Many scientists believe that genetic engineering is the future of our evolution. It provides us with a chance to give ourselves any traits we want, such as muscle mass or eye color. Basically, anything is possible. Jennifer Doudna is a biochemist known for her pioneering work in CRISPR gene editing, for which she was awarded the 2020 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. She believes that the technical obstacles to gene editing have been overcome, and that the world is now rapidly approaching the day when it will be possible to make essentially any kind of change to any kind of genome.
Every living thing that we know of on our planet has a nucleic acid that encodes the genetic information, and for cells, that's DNA. This is a technology that is enabling in many different areas of biology. Scientists are using gene editing to alter the DNA of animals like pigs that are envisioned to be good organ donors for humans, and using it in two ways. One is to remove endogenous viruses from the pig DNA that could otherwise potentially infect humans that received organs donated by these animals, and the other is to make the organs in these animals more human-like, so they're less likely to induce an immune reaction. And that's actually work that's going on both in academic labs and also in companies now. This work is moving forward quite quickly, and I think that most people would agree that this is an exciting potential application of this that could solve a real problem, which is the scarcity of organs that are necessary for donations.
Athletic performance will also be affected heavily in the future. We will be able to modify genes that lead to better performance, or make it easier for different sports to be performed. This could be done through gene doping. Instead of injecting DNA into a person's body for the purpose of restoring some function related to a damaged or missing gene, as in a gene therapy, gene doping involves inserting DNA for the purpose of enhancing athletic performance. Decades-long research in mice suggests that in the future, despite the potential risks, this technology could be used in humans. It would make us faster, our muscles stronger, and even improve reaction time. Ultimately, the rise of gene therapy suggests the possibility of improvement in mental characteristics such as memory or intelligence. Although these discoveries are encouraging, Sinclair cautions that people set their expectations realistically. There are many ethical concerns that have been raised about human genetic engineering, but this hasn't deterred many scientists and engineers from developing new gene editing technologies. Dr. George Church is a professor of health sciences and technology at Harvard and MIT. He believes that almost everything will be better because of genetics.
So the projects that I find most compelling and exciting in terms of applications are transplantation of organs. There's a gigantic need for that. Gene drives to eliminate malaria, and then for developing nations, and then aging reversal for industrialized nations where most of the morbidity and mortality is due to diseases of aging. You want to get at the core of that. And then once you have all of those things, which are drains on our economy, if you can solve all those, then you can reduce, you have more money available for things like space, where we really need to get off the planet to avoid supervolcanoes asteroids. And that has a genetic component as well.
As genetic engineering technology approaches an unprecedented era of human gene editing, the ethical implications are beginning to arise on how to balance our desire for longevity and enhancements with our fears over the misuse of this technology. What is the moral responsibility of scientists and humans towards future generations? Is this an opportunity for human progress or a looming disaster in the making? We are beginning to reach the point where we can no longer ignore these questions. With technological advances in molecular biology, like CRISPR, that allow for specific gene editing approaches, many scientists argue that there are strong potential risks to human genetic engineering.
I would hope that initial uses are limited to real medical need rather than what we might consider to be enhancements. I think that we need to be thoughtful about putting in place appropriate guidelines and frankly, I would say regulations that really establish a set of principles that there's some price to be paid if you cross that line. And the challenge is always how to do that. And of course, science is global now. It's very hard to imagine quite how we would regulate or maybe enforce regulations globally. But I think we have to be just very thoughtful, thinking about how we can put in place a set of very clear requirements that might turn into regulations ultimately.
Gene therapies have advanced in recent years, but are still in a gray area of regulations. As with any new technology, scientists are cautious. Once we start tampering with our genetic code, who's to say what else we could do with it? And if we can genetically modify humans for the better, should we hold back due to moral concerns? The ethical dilemmas that arise as we are forced to contemplate such possibilities threaten the foundation of science and medicine. To date, gene therapy has only been used in a very limited number of patients who face a very limited period of time or likelihood of survival. We need to be careful with human genetic enhancement, as there is a risk of random edits that could have permanent consequences. We still don't know about the interactions with other genes that could cause harmful reactions. Enhancing human characteristics and capacities through the use of reproductive technology and human genetic engineering is a topic of ongoing scientific study, controversy, and moral debate. There are many different consequences and ethical implications of human enhancement and genetic modification. Some ethical concerns about this possibility include unequal access to genetic enhancement, or even a widening gap between genetically enhanced individuals and normal ones. The prospect of gene modification is a double-edged sword with numerous dangers lurking around every corner. No one can predict all the challenges we face in the future in making genetic engineering safe and secure, but there is no question that the development of genetic engineering will profoundly affect the future of humanity. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? Then show your support by subscribing and ringing the bell to never miss videos like this.